Financial irregularities is a huge term. It means that in terms of the way government acts, in terms of financing, whether it's buying things, procuring things, disposing of things, dealing with bills and invoices, whether that's done in the right way. And we have a huge amount of procedures and financial procedures on our website, and bodies involved in government have to adhere to those. Now, what we've been doing over the last couple of years is trying to make it far easier for people to report financial irregularities. Often that's people within government itself. So Manx Radio have reported on the whistleblowing policies, people who see things going wrong or perhaps don't want to say it because it's their line manager doing it, can report those through whistleblowing. But also in September 2022, we set up what's called the Integrity Line, which is an anonymous way people can report irregularities that they see. And some of these are really minor. A lot of these are dealt in-house. So a lot of the reports are compiled by the people who've made the irregularity themselves. They've done something, they've realised that it doesn't fit with the financial regulations, therefore they've reported it, and we then investigate it and say how they can do better, try to make sure it doesn't happen again, those sort of things. But it was a very interesting question from Miss Edge, and I suppose the highlights really are some of the perhaps more juicy things from a media perspective in terms of alleged bribery, corruption, theft and fraud, and how those are reported, and then how those are dealt with.
Well, absolutely. We'll go on to that then, because there was 3 reports last year, in the last financial year, which fell into the category of bribery and corruption. 1 the year before that. How concerned are you about those reports?
Again, these are allegations which then have to be fully investigated.
Do they have to be based on evidence, as it were? Does somebody have to see a spreadsheet or an email to be able to report this, or can it be just a low-level suspicion?
It can be low-level suspicions. I mean, we do value people coming forward, sort of saying, I've seen something, or I know of something, I've been involved in something, and it didn't seem right, and I don't know where to take this. You know, I'm not going to phone for the police, but I don't know where to take this. So again, those come through often on the Integrity Line, which can be anonymous, and they're filtered, and we look into those. We being the Audit Advisory Division, which is separate to Treasury, and they will look into some of the allegations very confidentially, try to then look at the substance behind them. Is it actually not founded? It's not bribery or corruption at all. Is there an element of a mistake's been made which may look like that, but it isn't? Or actually has somebody done something wrong? Because again, you have to understand that we've got a workforce right across government of over 7,000 people. People will make honest mistakes and own up to it, but it's not. I think it would be unreasonable for me to say, look, there's no bad apples in there. There's nobody at all that might be tempted at some point to do something that is illegal and is wrong. And then it's absolutely our responsibility to investigate that, and if necessary, then pass that on to the police.
Not only investigate, but I suppose create an environment where to even have that temptation would be a no-brainer. They wouldn't even question or even consider this, right?
Yeah, and I suppose that's the difficulty we have in terms of government. Is this acceptable? No. Should it be tolerated? Absolutely not. But in any large organisation, you will have people who, from time to time, perhaps forget where they are, do bad things, and do things that are wrong. Some of them may report themselves and say, "Look, I've done this. I really need to fess up to it." But often we will get allegations, and it may be from somebody who's taken part in a procurement process, saying somebody else got this contract. I think there was bribery involved. Well, that's a serious allegation, and we will look into that.
To the best of your knowledge, has anyone across government, like you say, there's 7,000, has anyone across government been suspended, sacked? Has action been taken against them over the past 4 years following reports of bribery or corruption?
I don't know that granular detail, to be honest with you. I am certainly aware that some of these cases have resulted in people the cases being passed on to the constabulary to actually prosecute on a criminal grounds. And in those cases, that's obviously out of government, that's into the law enforcement. And so those cases will be passed on and will be fully investigated. And if necessary, those people will be prosecuted. Now, at that point where you're passing something on to the police, obviously somebody would be reported to OHR, and that person may well be suspended from their role pending the further inquiries.
7 incidents last year referred to the constabulary/OHR for the year before, none the year before that, and then 6 across 2021/2022. Well, 2022/23 seemed like a good year, so why are we increasing again?
I think for a number of reasons. As I said, in 2022, we set up the integrity line. We've been actively trying to encourage people to report irregularities right across the piece and actually have that zero tolerance for theft, fraud or corruption right across government. And when we do get these allegations coming forward, we will absolutely investigate them thoroughly and take things forward. I think in terms of the rest of the question, the rest of the answer to the question, it does point out that some of these cases are quite complicated and may take a while to actually get to the bottom of and then passed on to the police. So some of the ones in 2022 maybe only came to fruition in 2023 in terms of the full investigation. But looking forward, what we need to do is make sure that these irregularities are reported. So I'm not necessarily surprised that with a far more open and transparent culture across government in terms of these sort of things, we are getting more people coming forward. What we need to do is make sure that they're dealt with and make sure we have best practice in the right circumstances right across government in terms of the way we deal with taxpayers' money.
Is it time for a clampdown?
In terms of clampdown, we have zero tolerance for bribery, corruption, theft and fraud. Absolutely. When that is alleged, it will be fully investigated. When cases are found to have some evidence behind them, that will be passed on to the constabulary to fully investigate from a police perspective, and those people will be dealt with by the law. When we look at things like contractual arrangements, procedural governance, operational and internal errors, absolutely, we need to make sure that everyone complies with financial regulations, that everyone is skilled to know the right way of dealing with public money and doing it in the right way and for the best benefit of the people of the island.
Do you have faith? Are you confident that this number, which has gone up 70 last year, 70 across 2023/24, 85 across 2024/25, are you confident you can bring that down and not just reports but incidents?
Actually, I'd possibly say the opposite. I mean, when you look, we're not talking, the total figure involves things like internal errors, operational errors, payroll errors, people being paid possibly too much, too little, and then having to deal with that, pension management. Actually, what we've been trying to instill in everyone across the island is if you make a mistake, report it to us so we can make sure there isn't a systematic problem that's leading to that mistake. We can make sure that though perhaps you need better software, you need better ways of dealing with this so you don't make the mistake in the future. So I see the increasing numbers coming in actually showing far more openness, that people are willing to admit to their mistakes so we can investigate them properly and see a better way of doing the services that they provide.
If we can go slightly into the granular detail, what's going on in procurement governance, which seems to be, that has the highest number of reports?
Yep. And again, when you look at procurement, the way that government tender for various services, buy various goods, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of invoices coming in each year, lots of tenders there in a very competitive nature. So it's not unusual for people who perhaps don't get the tender to make an allegation or to complain that it wasn't fair. We will investigate that. We will go forward. And again, what we've been trying to do with our procurement is change some of the financial regulations to favour on-island procurement as much as possible, to put government money into local companies to allow them to provide the services. But actually looking overall, it's absolutely right that we continue to look at our procurement services, how we spend taxpayers' money, and make it as good as possible.
And just finally, there'll be some who read even allegations of bribery and corruption. What can you say to them to instill confidence that your department is keeping a track of this?
Yeah, and that's a track of it right across government. We've had constant training of everyone across government about things like bribery, corruption. Even the allegations or the perceptions are really important for the trust in government. And what I'd say to anyone listening is we absolutely have zero tolerance for this. Where we get allegations coming in either through the integrity line or other methods, methods, they will be investigated, and where they're found to have basis, they will be passed on to the police and dealt with in the strongest ways.
Thank you for making it to the end of the Manx Radio Newscast. You are obviously someone with exquisite taste. May I politely suggest you might want to subscribe to this and a wide range of Manx Radio podcasts at your favourite podcast provider, so our best bits will magically appear on your smartphone. Thank you.